First day as a sophomore. How does it feel?
Exhilarating.
Come and get it.
Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna double up on my protein supplements and ask for my damn respect.
My turn.
We're not doing a piggyback right
I don't know
now.
if you remember me.
Of course I do.
You do?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember even then thinking, what a healthy head of hair. Like, I'm so jealous of your hair. I'm like, what a beautiful young lady. It's
You
great
have
to be with
amazing
it.
hair.
Quite dead, but thank you.
Oh, no.
All the bleaching.
No. And I know when I
Yeah.
met you at the Critics' Choice,
Yes, I remember.
my husband, that was his favorite moment of the thing. He's like, because he was just taking photos, and I was like, that was the best moment ever. Because I know I told you then that like you were the first Persian that I've ever like seen like on television because I watched you on SNL and then on, and getting to see you kind of represent our culture through Chad is just even more rewarding just because he's so funny and relatable and like gosh, especially in season 2. Uh, but
That means so much to me, which is why it's seared into my memory that exchange that we had, because yeah, our people are quite new here compared to like other immigrant, stories. And it's cool that, you're obviously younger than me, but like our generation of assimilating has led to us getting to run into each other and to see people from our generation in TV and media and film in ways that like when we were little, maybe it wasn't so prevalent. So thank you. That means a lot to me.
no, thank you. And I mean, one of the storylines, I mean, all the storylines, especially in season 2, because I really did like season 1, but I like loved season 2 just because so many of the storylines really hit home for me. One particular one, just the episode where Peter is kind of advancing in his relationship with Denise and the way Chad reacts about that. I think that anyone can relate to that because I feel like when your friend kind of goes into a next stage ahead of you start to feel left behind. And I was just wondering, how did that storyline, maybe any personal ties to that, or how did that come to be?
It was so personal in the sense that like that was such a distinct memory I had from high school, myself as a late bloomer too, is like going to school. It's like, yes, this even level playing field of like everyone's at the same school, but everyone is in such different stages of development. And I remember being like way too scared to drink, and I hadn't had my first kiss yet, and other kids were like having sex and binge drinking, and I was just like, how are we the same age? And I remember both understanding I wasn't as far along, as they were. They were a lot faster than me. And at the same time, being like, I know I'm not ready for it. It's not like I even want to be where they're at. I'm not there yet. And that's such a unique thing, I feel like, to high school. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to write an episode where Chad was faced with that, in some ways feeling like he is losing his best friend who he always was on equal footing with. And now he felt like he was losing to sex, to another girl, to his arch nemesis. But yeah, that was a really fun episode to shoot.
Yeah, it was good. And I was a late bloomer myself, so that's why I was like, oh, I get that. Just in any aspect, you're like, what? People are making out already?
Totally. Yeah.
But another great episode this season was the Nowruz episode. Obviously, you've got Shore Agashlu, which is amazing.
I know, how lucky am I? Like an Oscar-nominated actress playing Chad's grandma was so awesome.
Perfect. And I've always said I think Nowruz could literally be the plot of a entire feature film because there's so much to work with, which I died laughing at the line where you're like, hello, like old man just eating a straight up cucumber, because I was like, yes. I mean, I don't know, many people aren't gonna get that, but I'm like, that is
are eating rogue cucumbers.
Yeah. But I was just wondering, can you talk about getting Shore and including Nowruz with her?
Absolutely. I mean, when obviously we're in the writer's room for, 16 weeks before we even get to production. And so when you're breaking storylines and trying to think of like where to take the character now that you have had a chance to zoom out and see what season 1 was, I really wanted him to lean a little more into his cultural identity because he was so embarrassed by it season 1, and I obviously wanted to stay true to the character, but I thought it'd be nice to see even just like a little bit of incremental growth where after he finally becomes popular for the wrong reasons and it all comes crashing down, he has to climb out of that and he's forced to spend time with his family at home and learn to even just a little bit embrace that side of him. The side that is this immigrant kid, as much as he wants to be American and fit in, that's also a part of who he is. And so breaking a story where his grandmother from literally Iran comes to visit felt so fun. And it was always a dream of mine to, if I got a second season, write Shohreh into the show. And so I called her up and said, listen, you could not be more busy and you're on amazing things and obviously in high demand, but could I borrow you for a very special episode of my weird little show? And she was so down and so game and so excited to do it. And I think for her, it was also fun because she also typically does a lot of dramas, but she's so funny. And I think when she's as great of an actress as she is, who just commits from beginning to end, the comedy comes very naturally. So that was a really, really fun episode. And yeah, what a get to have her play his grandma.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. Another reason why I'm just so happy that season 2 happened, by the way, because I felt like it was forever. But
it's forever. Yeah.
Yes.
We survived a corporate merger by the skin of our teeth. And I'm actually, the silver lining of it having taken forever is that now in its new home with Roku, it's in so many more households and people can stream it for free. They don't have to like get a new subscription to get another streamer. It's on most smart TVs. And even if you don't have a TV, but you have a computer, you could go to the RokuChannel.com and stream it for free there. So I'm excited for it to find an even, newer audience than the fans that already exist.
I bet it will too. Like usually I just think like more people are lean more towards streaming and also binging and stuff. So like, I think it's a blessing in disguise and everything.
I did bring alcohol.
That bag? What's with this long, wet-ass receipt?
So many episodes would like hit home to me just because you could believe it all. It's very authentic too. And
even like you and I had a specific upbringing, maybe as immigrant kids, but even within that, like at the core, it's about a kid trying to fit in, which literally anyone that went to high school can relate to, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the way the show plays on different levels for different people, and the way that it resonates in a specific way depending on your own personal experience in high school. I think it's a show for people that loved high school. I think it's a show for people that hated high school. It's cool. It's cool to see what it means to different people.
Yeah. And I think that's always been my favorite background is high school, which I don't know why. I have no idea. I'm like, even at 35, I still, yeah.
It's just such a delightfully awkward period of one's life that if you can get to the other side of, it's really fun to then laugh at who we were then. Because in high school, the stakes of everything feel so high,
Yes.
And that's what's so funny about teenagers. The smallest thing can feel like it has life or death, consequences when obviously it doesn't.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are wrapping me, but I do just have to ask the final question just because I love your like writing. Like I just think that's exactly my kind of comedy, just almost subtle sometimes. But I was wondering what kind of maybe comedy movies or shows inspired your writing?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, there's a subtlety that I love exploring in writing. Like, I was just in another interview touching on this. Like, there's so many different comedic sensibilities, and I haven't necessarily always generated material that feels very like set up punchline. I, especially because I'm a performer, love playing in sort of that realm of finding humor even in between the dialogue, or, you know, like living in maybe like a little more of a nuanced weirdo place. That's like what makes my heart sing. But I think, you know, even within that, like I grew up watching multicams. I grew up watching I Love Lucy. I grew up, you know, I think once I was old enough to start writing, it was like Tina Fey was like this, you know, certainly this titan of industry when it came to like the kind of writer she was. But even in my younger years, I remember admiring Lucille Ball, just in terms of how ahead of her time she was, and her ability to be that silly during that era was so remarkable to me. And her, you know, not feeling like she had to have this like polished veneer of always looking beautiful and together and conforming to the more traditional you know, the boxes that women were put in a lot of times, especially during time, and to break that mold and be like, I'm going to be messy and weird. That was really inspiring to me from a young age. And so as I developed my own sensibility, I think I can look back and see how specific women helped shape me into the performer that I ultimately turned into.
Oh, and that's a great choice, because yeah, you're right about all that. But I will not keep you anymore. I know they're probably like freaking out on time.
If you have any other questions, I'm happy to chat with you.
Oh, it was so great. I could talk to you all day and just pick your brain, literally just listen to your life, because I think it's entertaining.
I so appreciate this, because, you know, there are so many shows to watch. There's like over 600 shows. So it's so cool to get to promote something I really believe in, and for people that write about it so that hopefully it can find like a new audience is awesome. So thank you for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you.
Come and get it. Dude, if it's too high, you can just bail.
Yeah, right, Caleb.
Come and get it.